Something I wanted to talk about today is my big annoyance with family and them popping up in my life when I don't need them. I'm at a point in my life where I have been alone at so many moments, very consistently, where I know to some extent how to properly deal with the problems that I may have. You know, if you're an only child, maybe this is something you can relate to. Um, and, as an only child, I feel like my family, as far as cousins, aunts, uncles, or people that were meant to be close to me, just never put in effort. Um, this could be a culture issue sometimes. I mean, it's different from family to family, but I feel like a lot of people that I have talked to, that are able to relate to me in that way, that they have there is a family, but that family isn't really there to really be there for them. Now, the main issue regarding family is that the elders um, do not attempt to understand you. And even if they're a little older than you, maybe like 10 years, 20 years, if there's not that big of a gap in age, they still don't attempt to understand you. There's some underlying ego. And if it is an ego, they're just too prideful to actually talk to the younger people, like their nephews and nieces and younger cousins, about things that they don't necessarily care about. And I do feel like this is something that is causing massive disconnects in families. I have to admit that I'm very jealous of people who have a great connection with their cousins, aunts, or uncles, or just outer extended family. I mean, who wouldn't? Those people, majority of the time, are so much happier in life. Those that have that strong family bond with one another. There's proper unity between these people, and I truly believe in the fact that if you're considered as the older family member. Maybe you're the older cousin and you have a niece or a younger cousin, something. Your job is to try and actually try to connect with those people, you know, and don't let your ego get to you. Just because you're older, don't look at it as like, oh, I'm older, they should be coming to me. That's a great misconception. Um, Maybe if you're in like Asian households like myself, that's like a big issue. Now, your primary focus with family should be focusing on the younger people and trying to build the bonds and connections to make them feel seen. I feel like that's something, especially in Asian households, they just really struggle with getting off. Uh, Making the younger people get seen, other than them being used for like I don't know, like what school you go to, your education, all that stuff. I feel like there's a limit to how many times those conversations should be brought up. It's very unnecessary and it's very repetitive. You know, and one of the biggest things that pushes people away from this unity or from family in general that is being sparked up a lot nowadays, even more than I thought it would, is the idea of independence. Now, independence isn't bad. I want to be independent, and independence is very important. But to me, it is very sad to see that this is the option that a lot of people have to take, you know, to completely isolate themselves from family because they just don't want to understand them or they don't care enough. And as much as family unity is important, it can get very bad and unfixable at times. And this form of independence can cause loneliness, create confidence issues due to a lack of support, and the list goes on and on. And I feel like it is very important to put it out there because the stabilized family can get through so much more than the independent person can. Realistically, they can't. If you have that unity, if you have that like strong bond with one another, big families and strong families are able to do 5 times more than what the independent person can. That's just how it works. We work better with one another. But the world has caused us to move away and, you know, we're forced to be independent because no one wants to understand one another. But yeah, thank you guys for watching.